So what is a ratio? A ratio is actually how two numbers relate to each other, or how many times one number is contained in another number. And that's how it's written. 2 parts of water to 1 part of cement. So when you make that mix together, there are 3 parts in the mix. 2 parts of them water, 1 part of them is cement. So you always think about the whole number, and then you split it into the separate parts. Okay, like I said, in this room, it's 5 to 1. 5 of you is 1. We've got 6 people in the room in total. 6 people in the room. So what skills do we need to work out ratios? We need to know how to simplify a ratio. Really straightforward. It's just like simplifying fractions. Okay. We need to know how to work ratio out for sharing, which is what we're going to learn about there. We've already talked about it with the sweets. And then we're going to calculate some total amounts, and that's when we're given some ratios and we've got to work out the total amount of something. It's a slightly different technique to this one. So a couple of different techniques that we need to learn. So we're going to make a start on this simplifying of ratios first. So let's have a look at this picture. Got some tiles here in the bathroom, red, white and black tiles. What you've got to remember when you're working with ratio is this, that whatever order these are written in, that's the order that the answer has to be written in. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Okay? So, the question says, let's work out the ratio of the red, the white and the black tiles. So what we have to do if we're working that out, we have to write that down in the same order. Red to white to black. And you put these 2 little dots in between, they symbolise 2. Not the number 2, but the word 2. So we're going to work out the ratio of red tiles to white tiles to black tiles. So we count the red tiles. 12. Count the white tiles. 6. And we count the black tiles, also 6. So the ratio there is 12 red tiles to 6 white tiles to 6 black tiles. That's the ratio. Okay, that's the ratio. We've worked it out. 12 to 6 to 6. But what happens if we split the picture in half? So if we were to cover this half up, or this half, what have we now got? We've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red, 1, 2, 3 white, 1, 2, 3 black. What we've actually done, we've actually simplified that ratio. We've kept it in the same ratio, it's still exactly the same ratio, however, we've made the numbers a bit smaller. Yeah? If that was a full bathroom, or if we was doing more tiling, yeah, if we made them bigger, we'd have 24 to 12 to 12, 48 to 24 to 20, and so on and so forth. It's exactly the same ratio, it's just that it's getting smaller, like with simplified fractions. And we do that by dividing the top number and the bottom number. Sorry, that's fractions again. We do that by dividing all the numbers by the same number. Yeah, to make them as small as we can possibly get them. It's not common in the exam, thankfully. So you divide each part by the same number each time until they can be no longer divided. So we've got 18 to 60 to 24. We're going to write it in its simplest form. Okay, so there it is, 18 to 60 by 24. What do? We think of a number that we can divide each of those by. Have you got any idea?
6,
3? Let's go with 3. So let's divide all them by 3. 18 divided by 3 is 6. 60 divided by 3 is 20. And 24 divided by 3 is 8. We've simplified it already. It's the same ratio, but it's a simple version. Can we go a bit smaller than that?
2. No.
Yeah, divide by 2. 3 to 10 to 4. It's as simple as we can get it. We've simplified the ratio. So it's just like simplifying fractions. Think to yourself of a number that you can divide them by and that way. We could have done that by 6 straight away, which would have given us this. We did it by 3 and then we did it by 2. We did it that way so I can just show you that it works. It's like fractions. You can simplify it by one number, then once you're smaller, you can simplify it by a different number. You don't have to use the same number all the way through. Yeah, all the way through. So 3 out of 10, 3 to 10 to 4 is the smallest ratio. Okay. So here we go, one more. There are 160 men and 28 women in a crowd. What is the ratio of men to women in its simplest form? So 168 men and 280 women in a crowd. What is the ratio of men to women in its simplest form? So think about when we've simplified fractions, if we had a fraction with a 0 on the end. How are we doing? Okay, so we had 160 to 80. We're going to simplify. The first thing we're going to do, or the first thing I would do, I'd get rid of the zeros because that means we've divided them both by 10 straight away. So that leaves us with 1628. That's a tricky one. What would you think we should divide them by? Half, yeah, divide them by 2.
Or 4.
So 8, 14, yeah, 2 again, 4 to 7, that's it, innit? Can't go any lower because we've got a 7 in there. Yeah, we could have divided it by 4 straight away.
I went by 8.
Or divide by 8.
Yeah, I did by 8, then by 5.
Oh, right, yeah, so you'd start from here, haven't you?
Yeah.
Dividing by 8 with the calculator. So you get 4 to 7 though?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's still the ratio. For every 4 men, there are 7 women. It's exactly the same ratio. We've just made them numbers a bit smaller. Why would we need to do that in the exam? Because you may have to, when you're calculating, use smaller numbers rather than working with those big numbers. Yeah. So if you had to share out some money between those 160 men and those 280 women, rather than using these massive numbers, you can use the smaller numbers because you're sharing it in the same ratio. Okay? So that is the same ratio as that. It's just the numbers are a bit smaller. Okay? So there we go, 4 to 7. 4 to 7. So another way that ratios can be used, and probably one of the most common ways, is for sharing out. Okay? So, what I've decided we should do, we should go on the lottery. So I'm going to give you some money and we can play the lottery.
Cheers.
There you go.
Not shocking.
I have a bit more. A bit more there for Charlotte and for you.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you.
and I've got some. So, what I've decided we're going to do, I've decided we'll have a go on the Euro Millions, okay, because it's a quite a large jackpot, so I thought we'd have a go on the Euro Millions. And it's £5 a ticket. So you've all got a load of money there, so I'll collect the money off you, I'll go to the co-op tonight and we'll get some, I'll get some tickets. So,